-3, -4 today, something like that. And obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff we have to get done today before we get on with our jobs. But naturally, like I said, if you're farming livestock, they come first 100% before anything else, before yourself. They come first. And yeah, with this weather it's going to be a bit of travelling around with some extra feed just to make sure they've got something, because while the ground's frozen like this, they do have a bit of a pick, but they don't really get into it. And yeah, we just have to get on with it, because it's just one of those things that just has to get done. In the shed last night, which it still freezes when it gets cold, the water freezes and everything else, we did have a couple of goat kids, which the mother did sort of look after. She had the kids at about 8 p.m. and then about 1 a.m. this morning managed to get them to latch. They had enough colostrum to get them going till about 5 o'clock this morning when we went out and checked them, and they're all doing good. Really now, when it is as cold as this and there is a frost, it's always good just to supplement the sheep, like I say, especially that they're so close to lambing and they can't eat. It's obviously not good, so we'll get this over to them. With the sheep, and yeah, the fields are absolutely gorgeous crystal white, and I think they are hungry the way they're all coming around to see me this morning. So obviously you're not just up here checking your sheep, well, feeding your sheep, you're up here checking your sheep. Your stock gets checked obviously every day, once or more, and if you're not just up here feeding, which we don't do every day, you can get a good idea with any animals that are lame or that have any problems that you might need to take them to the vet. It's one of those things that you need to check, and it just comes down to good husbandry. So yeah, no, the animals get checked every day regardless whether they need feeding or not. Not only that, if you don't check them, you don't know if they've got water, if they've got food, if you've got lame animals. And it's just one of those jobs, come wind, snow, sun, whatever it might be. Just getting food out for them, making sure they're all healthy. At the end of the day, you've got an obligation to your animals if you do in fact keep them. That's all we do here. Sheep are fed, happy, water's all defrosted. Next job is just to have a little walk around the boundary, because these sheep are on electric fence. Like I said, there's no fence in this side of the farm, apart from the one boundary up by the road. And we've only really just got to this side when it comes to laying hedges and cutting trees out that we don't want in. I mean, it's nice to leave the native species, but there's a few that we have to take out just because obviously you whack a nice new fence up and then you get an old bough come off and smash the fence in. Not ideal. So this is one hedge or tree line, I guess. It's very thin, which is lucky, which it shouldn't take that long to get done. But from going like from that to this, and obviously leaving in native trees around the place, makes hell of a difference. It means that we can fence tighter back and gain more ground, which is always ideal. So yeah, in here, this little patch, the field sort of started where I am now, which is sort of a good 40 yards from the bank where the hedge line is, and where we've managed to cut it out, we've gained, you know, there's got to be, I don't know, the size of maybe a quarter of a football pitch. And then everything that gets cut out, then we have to move all the trash, burn that. We try and burn it in as smaller piles as we can. And also all the bigger heavy stuff goes through up to the top and seasoned for a year or two, depending what wood it is, and processed, and then, like I say, for ourselves or for customers who might want it. I'm just heading off down the field now to meet up with my old man and clear some trash that we have cut down out the hedges, and see if we can burn it. Just hoping we can. Like, we have a serious frost this morning and it's only a couple of degrees now, if that. Let's see if we can get some of this burnt if it's not too wet. So finally down at the pile, and we've got quite a bit to burn from the hedge here that was cut out. So I'm just gonna see my old man now and see if it is gonna burn. Do you think it's gonna burn?
Well, hopefully if the wood isn't too wet, it should burn. All we can do is dry. It's dry underneath. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
all
we'll
I'll
hope.
try and do is push the pile over.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Hopefully then we can get this burnt. There's quite a bit here. That shouldn't take too much. My dad's cut all the large trees out from this side, and then all the wood's been cut off, and all the branches that are left that are no good for processing or any good for a fire is all going to get burnt, so that we're left with somewhere clean at the end. There's a good pile done. All this round here cleared now and on the fire. Just wait for it to burn down and fill the sides in. And it's just going to be a case of getting the rest of this line cleared, where all the sort of elder is being cut out along this hedge line, and then the holly here has been thinned back. You don't cut out all the holly, it's never good to cut it all out. Trees with berries on like this are always good to leave for wildlife. And then we'll eventually, when this is all out and a couple more have been laid, we'll have to go around the whole place with the processor and the trailer, and all these piles which are dotted all around this side of the farm are going to have to be processed and put back to the farm into bags and sold on. Right, so it's the next morning from when we started burning down in the corner of this field, and last night we had rain, sleet and hail, and then it stopped this morning at about 4 AM, but it came down from about 10 o'clock until then, so the chances of this fire still going is pretty slim, but it's just nice to go down and see if we can just kick it up a bit, and then in the centre we can start throwing off everything that was to the edge of the fire, just so everything gets burnt down and we're not just left with a pile of trash with a hole in the middle. So let's go down and have a look now. It did freeze again. Nice, about -3 now. We did get a freezing fog come in, but I don't think it's quite enough, but we'll get to the fire now and just see how it's looking. Right, oh, it is looking sort of promising. Everything, as you can see, everything in the centre is burned out. You just got what's around the outside, so hopefully if we just get in, that's perfect, start moving it around a bit, we can chuck everything that's on the edge into the centre. And bear in mind that fire's been through, you know, probably about 7 or 8 hours of solid rain and sleet, and I think it's going to be enough to keep it going. Well, that's a bit of a win. I suppose now the best thing about doing this is at the end of it you get left with absolutely nothing. You don't get left with like little bits of twigs all around the outside. You keep bringing it in and keep the fire going, you're going to be laughing. You're going to be left with no mess, just a small patch at the end, rake it over, get some seed on there, a bit of slug pellets, and you'll be good to go.